Hey, I'm John Bartlett with preselling.com, and we're going to talk about why equity is so much more important than getting paid out in cash. So let's just talk about definitions first, just so everybody's on the same page. Equity is your ownership of a project or an asset or whatever it is. Cash, however, is just literal USD or euro if you're in Europe, I guess. Cash is just sitting in your bank account. It doesn't do a lot, and when you collect cash, you get taxed on it. So when it comes to equity, however, you can have equity flow rather than cash flow. And how I look at this is saying, what is the rate at which your equity increases? So let's just do a very quick example. If I buy a house and it's 100K and I want to pull $1,000 a month out from my tenant or whatever, then yeah, I put $1,000 in my pocket and I then have it sit in my Wells Fargo account, I guess, or I go spend it on life. If I have my cost of living covered, I don't need the cash at that point. What would make more sense is to spend the $1,000 and make an improvement on the house that could improve the value of the house by $3,000, right? Because then I'm making 3x on cash. So unless your Wells Fargo account is going to make 300% return, or 200% return, I guess, whatever. Unless it's going to make you a ridiculous profit and you're going to triple your money in your bank account, you should not pull it out of the property. So a lot of people ask me like, well, how much do you cash flow? It's like, dude, as little as possible. I don't want to cash flow stuff. I want to maintain it in the property. Now, how much do we collect net income? Very different discussion, right? We collect a lot of net income, but we don't actually pull money out and put it in our own pocket as much as we can help to do so. Because there's a lot of opportunities of we spend $1,000 and we can end up getting $5,000 back in property value. So our equity flow is now increasing rather than our cash flow. So our equity flow is $5,000 a month rather than $1,000 a month. Because if we're able to make $1,000 improvement that adds $5,000 value, that's a lot better, right? So I say equity flow is a significantly better way to look at things instead. Additionally, if you are buying a property and you are wholesaling it, you are just taking cash. If you're buying a property though, and you actually close it, you are getting paid in equity. So what I would highly recommend to anybody that is watching this that maybe has done some wholesale transactions is next time you have a deal that's in your hand that somebody else is willing to buy, you should probably also be willing to buy it. Only if somebody else is willing to buy, of course, right? We're just using that as a litmus test to figure out if it's a good deal or not. So if somebody else is willing to buy it, it's probably a good deal. In which case, you should probably just try to buy it. And this is where we get into what's called syndication. I talk about this a lot in the other videos. So with syndication, it's you have somebody else come in and put in the money, and then you pay them out a return based on their ownership, not based off of how much money you took on a rate of return like debt. So you have debt, which is loan, and then you have equity from somebody else that would come in and they would fund the whole down payment. So if you had somebody else and they funded the whole down payment and they are 70% owner, then that means you're 30% owner of the property, but you got $0 out of pocket, so you just make money. Yes, that's correct. Infinite return. So you would just make 30% of whatever the property makes net, and also depending on how you structure the deal, you would own 30% of the property, and that is worth significantly more than whatever rinky-dink wholesale assignment fee you could possibly muster up. So in conclusion is, if you don't need the cash in order to literally survive and pay your bills, you should probably just take it in the form of equity because it's going to be significantly higher payout. And if you don't believe me, run the math all the way through. Or think about scenarios such as, if I spend $1,000 to re-improve my property, would I make more money in equity of the property, i.e. is the property worth more? I probably should have done the hook at the beginning, but whatever, we're here now. I've bought hundreds and hundreds of properties this way, where we do, somebody else comes in and funds the down payment. We have a bank or a seller covers the majority of the purchase price, and we come in and we are responsible for all of the work. We just turn around and hire contractors and they do stuff for us, and property managers, etc. So we're the active and the general partners, and we are not the passive and capital partners. So by doing this, we're able to make a very large equity flow because we are making a lot of money that way. And it is very good for the limited partner because they're able to make quite a large return on their end as well. So we usually just tell them, hey, we'll double your money over X amount of time. And it's not very difficult to do. If your property goes from $1 million to $2 million in 1 year, and you only have to double the $100,000 down payment that somebody else put down, it's not that tough. It means that we would make like 800 to 900. They double their money, everybody wins. So hopefully this is style of content is a little different here for everybody, and this is kind kind of what a little bit of the community's been asking for. So if you are not a member of the preselling.com community, you should, because everything is free. And we have some very, very exciting things coming out here in the very near future that are only going to be available to our most active members. And we're going to be doing it through the Discord. Everything is free, including the new stuff. However, we're just going to restrict it so only people that are most active can do it. So make sure to join the Discord community where you can network and have your deals underwritten by other people and commentary and Q&A and all sorts of fun things. So thanks so much, and I hope you appreciate this video.